Welcome to the GTM Loop. I'm Angie Milano, and this is
Holly Glowaty. And we're talking about how to build go-to-market strategies that actually work. So we're going to bring you real stories, real tactics, and conversations that help you sell it, keep it, and grow it. So today we're going to start with the start.
Yes, the start.
Lead gen.
Lead gen.
Boy, isn't that something that
It sounds so tiny.
does
Lead gen.
But is so critical.
It's terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrifying for most people.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's hard. It's hard, and it takes a lot of perseverance, I would say.
Yes.
So I think one of our last episode, we talked a little bit about how many touch points to get basically traction. I think it's important to think about how many touch points does it take to reach someone that's cold.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Part of this. And it's, in my experience, it's usually been anywhere between 8 and 12.
Yeah.
Just to get a little bit of validation that it's even working.
Agreed.
So with that framework in mind, I feel like
let's talk about how we create those.
Let's dig in.
Okay, so I said this a little bit in the last episode, but I want to reiterate. Lead gen is not scattershot.
Yes. Very targeted.
It is targeted. And how do we get targeted?
We define our ICP and all of the personas that fall underneath that.
Yeah.
ICP, for anybody who doesn't, hopefully people know what that is by now, but for anyone who doesn't know what an ICP is, it is your ideal customer profile. And it means the personas underneath that mean, yes, you maybe said your ideal customer profile is credit unions. And then you say in lending.
Yes.
And then you say my persona is going to be someone who is in leadership that cares about growth of the portfolio. So maybe like a chief lending officer or an SVP. That's what we mean when we say ICP and persona. So it's a lot of work that you do up front to understand who do we sell to, who in their organization cares about it, how should we talk to them?
Yes.
And what are the outcomes that they will flinch about, that they actually care about, that they will want to talk to you about? And one of the things I always find is thinking through reaching a CLO or chief lending officer at a giant organization is different than reaching one at a small organization.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting where sometimes I think, well, I'll just reach the chief lending officer. And I'm like, really? At Fifth Third, you're going to reach the chief lending officer? I don't think so.
I don't think that. Exactly.
Maybe we want to start a little lower than that. Maybe we want to start thinking about a director,
Yeah,
a VP, or someone who's a little more accessible. So interesting to hear your take on that.
I think defining your ICP, it feels really daunting initially because you feel like you're getting too narrow maybe, or just too niche. But no, because then once you really dig into persona, I like to define at least 3 personas.
Yes.
Because no financial institution, no company is built the same way.
No.
People make up, I've made up titles for myself where I'm like, this sounds fake, but it's my job.
This is my job. This is how I do it. And this is what we call it.
So like, you can't just say it's a title.
Right.
You can't just say, well, they care about these numbers. It's actually, when I do persona work, people probably don't know this about me yet because this is episode 2.
Oh yeah, we didn't say that. This is episode 2.
So this is episode 2. I studied theater in college.
I hadn't noticed.
Obvious path into working in financial services.
Of course. What else do you do? And when all else fails, you go into banking.
Yes.
Fintech.
Clear path there. So, but what I used to do when I was defining my character, I would write like a life story for them. And I've brought that into my persona work where I'm not just looking at like, this is, who's on the Chase credit cards? D. Barrett.
Right.
This is D. Barrett. He works in this job,
right?
And they use this core.
Right.
Oh, but I will do that. I'll say like he has 3 kids. This, you're catching him when it's the start of the school year, and like, he's
hectic.
It's hectic, and he's about to go to 4 different conferences. So where is his head at?
Exactly. Right? And how do you reach him?
you have to think about these things. Like they are a human at the end of the day behaving in human ways.
Yes.
So you're going to have to think, what does he have time to do? Maybe it's a morning scroll on LinkedIn. Maybe he's going through his inbox and anything with a headline that looks very salesy is not.
Delete it. Or there's a filter already built in that just puts it in spam.
Yep. Okay, so he's headed to conferences. Which conferences is he headed to? Can you reach out and set a meeting? Maybe you're not even going to that conference, and you can say, you can even use it. Just use the
hook of the conference.
So I like to think about the whole person I'm selling to because, I mean, I'm a unique person. You're a unique person. I don't enjoy cold phone calls.
No.
I don't answer them.
I don't answer them either.
No.
It just goes to spam.
But I know some people who are like, oh, I want to get on the phone with you.
I don't.
Oh.
Don't call me. Anybody who is thinking about cold outreach to me, don't.
I'm not even gonna, I'll hear the start of the voicemail. I'm like, ugh.
Then yes, and then 90% of what I do is just fumbling for my phone to double tap on the side so I can just silence the call.
Yes. Do you know what I don't mind though? Oh God, sorry, we're getting a little
text.
Yes. Oh my God. I totally take a text.
Yes, a text is easy because you can just say yay, nay, or stop.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't mind a text. So finding, I think all of this is to say, when you define your ICP and then you further define your persona, you're also defining communication. Yeah. And communication is the start of lead gen.
Exactly. It's what resonates with them. How do you catch them when they're want to be caught? And how do you engage with them in a way that provides value to them?
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing is a lot of times, and this has happened to me a million times. I'm sure it's happened to you a million times where I get someone that connects with me on LinkedIn. And then the next thing, it's like what they call the pitch slap.
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious, but people still do it.
Oh, they so do.
And I think if you follow me at all on LinkedIn, you know that I hate that. 90% of the things I write about are about that. So if you go right into, I build scalable teams that are offshore, and you're like, great, I don't have a technology stack, so
why are you?
Nothing to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I get a whole bunch of those. I actually got a cold call that I did answer, and the guy was super nice, but he said, I build offshore teams. And I said, you should probably look at my company. I'm a solo person and I don't build tech.
Yeah.
Thank you, but
no,
stop calling me. Yeah. I'm not going to buy your thing.
I know.
Yeah.
So research matters. And it's just going to go into when you're building your, your ICP, when you're building your personas, live and die by it.
Yes.
Especially at the start.
Yes.
Like really follow it, because if you start veering, you're never going to learn from it.
You're never going to learn from it. And it's going to be even harder to actually effectively build out your first one.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting signals from different buying groups or buying
yeah
where you actually don't know where your messaging resonates consistently. And consistency is the key, even though your approach will evolve over time. At the beginning, you just need it to consistently hit.
Yeah.
And how do you know that if you're talking to every person in the org?
Totally.
So,
and I think the thing is, I feel like I see this a lot anymore, where marketing in tech is kind of getting I'm going to say bastardized, for lack of a better term here, because I think we're expecting things of marketing that are not fair these days.
Yes.
Like everything has to be tied to a metric. Oh my God. And and it has to perform right away.
Yes.
No,
it doesn't work like that.
Oh, it doesn't work that way, because I think we are losing the art of allowing people to discover us.
Yes.
We are starting to say that everything, like
attribution. I feel like the idea of attribution has ruined marketing, because not everything needs to be attributed and not everything can be attributed.
No.
So attending a conference where people actually are not buying, but you're advocating for their cause.
Yes.
And they get to know you and speak to you and understand what you do and what kind of person you are. That is something that builds value, trust, and exposure to your brand and your own personal brand. But you can't attribute that. That's not going to, that will eventually bring you business.
Yeah.
But you can't say, because I met Holly in Money 2020 and she was talking on a panel for female founders.
Yeah, right.
That's why we closed that deal. Maybe not. Most likely, yes. But that is the big thing. Also having hard metrics around, we're going to get 10 meetings a month. That's really difficult to say you're going to get that from a lead magnet.
I know. Or
10x return. Oh,
yes, that. And then I love when people are like, well, if we don't get X likes or if we don't go viral from this.
Right.
Like, no, things
Going viral. That's so hard now.
It's so hard now.
Especially on things like LinkedIn, which is where most of our buyers are.
Yes. You just have to be open to the idea that you're going to have kind of the, I don't know, almost like the groundswell, but like the things that are constantly going.
Yes.
You're going to have those pieces of your marketing strategy that are very consistent.
Yeah.
Because consistency matters and it wins. Exactly.
It's constantly going in the background.
Yes.
It's not something that you're changing from month to month.
No.
You're building emotion. You can iterate on it.
Yeah.
But you're thinking through the things you want to uptick or downtick.
Yeah.
You use other tools. So one of the things that I've started using a lot that I really love is really targeted campaigns, especially on LinkedIn, that are tied to a domain. So if I know that I want to reach a financial institution XYZ and their domain is, I don't know, what do we
bank.com.
Bank.com, I'm going to make sure that the only people who see my ad are bank.com. I'm not going to waste my money. I'm not going to go and run the thing for 3 years. I'm going to run it for an ideal amount of time.
Yep.
By the way, it's like 4 weeks plus. Anything less than that is not going to do anything.
Exactly.
And then you're making sure that only those domains are seeing it. And now you're warming them up. You're giving them an idea of what your content is like.
And it's not your only sales tactic.
Exactly. That's just one thing that's kind of humming along on the base.
Yes. Then there's things like you're reaching out via text.
No calls.
You're sending emails. You're telling that you're going to conferences. You're also the way that you show up just generally in the community, showing your expertise has huge
implications.
Oh my gosh. I think because like fintech in general just moves so fast.
Yes.
We expect everything else to move fast. And it's just not the case. Like you have to give humans time to be human and to find you, to validate you. Just because you dropped a one pager with them
doesn't mean they're going to buy your thing.
No, because you know what? They need 8 to 12 touch points.
Yes.
And the more that you can build this sort of like nuanced strategy that hits these people, you're going to find that it cumulatively helps you get to where you need to.
Yes.
It's not going to be, there'll be one thing that does tip,
of course,
but everything else will have built towards it. So we really do have to think through, how do you create lead magnets? You know, how are you creating your lead gen in a very holistic way that takes into account things that can be tracked, of course, but then also those things you just have to leave a little room for magic, you know, like you really do. It's an art and it's a science, and that's okay. And I think if you have a marketing team, you have to trust them.
Yes, and give them autonomy. I can't even tell you how many times I've had a thing where it's like, I need to review every single piece of copy, every single image, and nobody has time for that.
No.
And I feel like in a world where we're talking about moving fast, that does not move fast.
No.
And so if you're hiring somebody to do marketing for you, let them do it. That's why you hired them. Obviously, you're going to get the first run of, here's what we're going to do for the month.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do for the week, however you're structuring your business.
Yes.
And you're getting general buy-in on that.
Yes.
Like, this is what we're going to talk about in every newsletter. This is what we're going to talk about in our social post. These are some of the campaigns and how much we're going to spend on them. But not, I have to approve every minutia word that goes out.
Because here's the thing. If you define the metrics that actually matter and these move the needle for that, then it's doing its job, right? So let's actually talk about that. What metrics matter?
Oh my gosh. I think it's such a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag.
It's hard to say like I feel like the only metric that matters in the eyes of the people, the people doing the lead gen work, you're looking at it's not even impressions, it's engagement.
Yes.
How many times are people engaging with this content? That's all of what happens on social media.
Yes.
It's how many times am I sending a text campaign and people respond or at least have something to say.
Yes.
It's more about how they engage with the content, no matter what channel. Are they answering cold outreach calls? Are your email campaigns producing demos? But what I find oftentimes, and this is why it's so difficult to do marketing work, is when you're talking to a founder or a seller on the team, they only identify success by meetings and demos and traction.
Traction, yeah.
Traction is more than just how many times somebody's willing to talk to you.
Yes.
And see your product. Traction sometimes means somebody clicked on a piece of content that you wrote 50 times.
Yes.
They're interested. They might not be interested right now. So one of the things that I find to be very frustrating is explaining that to people. And the other part is sometimes I have seen situations where someone started their sales motion as B2C.
Oh, yeah.
And the marketing tactics and the marketing metrics for that are way different.
Yes.
How many impressions did you get? How many times did somebody
click
through? How many signups did you get? In B2B, it's a little more subtle because you're actually trying to reach a customer and a company.
Yeah.
And so it's thinking through how many times do they need to see you in order to recognize you as a brand they trust and want to interact with? And so making that transition where we did these 5 things and it worked really great, and it did in a B2C motion, but it doesn't work in a B2B motion.
Yeah.
Lots of explaining oftentimes around that.
I agree. I also think there's, when I think about like, okay, what metrics really matter? Obviously, people really want to tie a lot of marketing to revenue. They always do. I think we're seeing a lot of like CMOs rolling up to CROs or weirdly like that anymore. And I get it. Like, I get it.
They should be unified. Sales and marketing, it's a huge disconnect if they're not unified.
I agree 100%. Like you should be partners.
Yes.
You should be partners in this. And they should be able to tell, like marketing should be able to tell sales like, ooh, guess what? We titled something like this and like the engagement went way up.
Right.
So change your messaging in your sales materials.
Exactly.
Or try it. You know, like you want that sharing because there's going to be strong signals from very passive, something that feels passive, in my opinion, that can actually inform a ton about how you move forward. Yeah. I mean, I've had things where it was crickets. You know what I mean? I've had sales motions where it was crickets and I could not figure out why. And it was, I always say we're in the business of semantics.
Yes.
We're in the business of semantics.
Explaining. How do you explain it?
Tweaked one thing and all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, this is working. It's working, you know?
Yeah.
So again, like saying that it didn't get, 25 shares in amount of hours, that would never have gotten me anywhere because I left it out there long enough to then say, well, what happens if I change it? And I learned from the failure of it.
Right.
And a lot of times it is less risky to let some marketing things run and maybe they're wrong, but you're learning from it. As long as you're learning
from it and iterating. And
all together
iterating. Now, the other thing is, I always think as sellers, you're speaking to your customer all the time. So when you are running demos, when you're running sales calls, you're hearing from them. You're hearing the words the client is using, the prospect. You're hearing what their needs are. If you have a good, tight sales and marketing relationship, you're going back to your marketing team and say, hey guys, I heard this word 50 times this week. What can we do with it?
Yes.
How do we run a campaign around it?
Yes.
How do we tweak the website language just a little bit because this seems to be what everybody cares about? Or, you know what, I heard this is a major concern a whole bunch of times this month. Can we write a thought leadership piece around it?
Yes.
So it's using the intel you're getting from sales to drive marketing. And oftentimes it's using what marketing is giving you to test with sales. And they have to work together. And if you don't, it creates conflict.
It does.
And it slows down traction.
It does. And I think a lot of times marketing is able to sort of like pull back. Like I think when I'm in a sales process, sometimes I really get in the weeds.
Me too. Yeah.
You know, and so it's nice to have someone who can kind of take that like 10,000 foot view and be like, stay the course.
Right.
We're good. It's working. Maybe that's not the right client we're talking to.
Right.
Potentially, right? They're not the right kind of lead. Or, you know, it's not always going to be the case, but I just think there's so much value in that give and take, especially when we're looking at lead generation and finding those early clients and finding what's resonating. So, you know, as we're looking at that, that's just something I really want to stress, because I like when I'm reading things on LinkedIn, I'm seeing a lot of people say that they're just feeling like marketing is just getting crushed right now.
Yeah.
And like, oh, one of the worst things I think you can do is be 2-3 weeks into a marketing strategy and then being like, you know what, I don't like
it.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, no,
you got to see how it's working. I didn't know it worked. Yes.
Think about yourself we were talking about this in preparation for this episode. You're a human buying things, right?
Yes.
Just because you're selling to a business doesn't mean there isn't a human buying it.
And they're going through whatever they're going. It might take them 3 weeks to open up the email in their inbox.
Yes.
Or to look at the text. Or maybe they read the text and thought it was something they wanted to do, but then they had to drop off their kid at school or something.
Yes.
And they forgot about it. And then they see it again when they're scrolling through their, oh, shoot, I want to respond to this.
Yes.
So sometimes that waiting period, it just accounts for real life.
It does. People, you're selling to people, you gotta allow them to be people.
Right.
And I think that means you've got to let your process play out. And then you've got to be willing to learn from it.
Exactly.
Even when I've seen this happen, and sometimes it's really hard if it invalidates a theory.
Yes.
That you have had about your business. You have to let it do that.
You have to let it do that. It's the same thing as when we talk about in sales, when you say win fast and lose faster.
Oh, yeah.
Because finding out that something doesn't work, a lot of times so much more valuable than figuring out what does work, because you'll waste time chasing things that don't work.
Yeah.
And money. In marketing sense, you're wasting money, because every single time that you invalidate an idea, those are dollars being saved. You're not chasing that person anymore. And so the hardest part about marketing, and I think it would be good to have a marketer on at this point, like a full-blown CMO to talk with us. But I do some light marketing work, and 90% of the time what I struggle with is people do not want to give it the time to see what it does. And or they'll be like, well, we're going to try this for a month and see how it goes. At a month, I might just be figuring out if I even want to do that again.
Yes.
Or if anybody even responded to it. So I think that the part of lead gen that is at the beginning of the loop is thinking through what marketing. Lead gen, for all intents and purposes, is marketing.
It is.
It is. It's all marketing, actually.
Yeah.
It's the tight communication between sales and marketing to make sure you're keeping each other in the loop and talking about the things that are happening practically. But it also needs time, and it needs to like hum under the radar so you can find the things that work, the things that don't work, iterate, change, make new process, whatever it is that you're learning from, and then treat your marketing folk as allies, not as enemies, or in some places, cost centers.
Oh my gosh.
I hate when I hear that.
I hate that.
They're not cost centers. Ultimately, they're bringing you revenue.
They are.
Might not be week one, but
yeah. They're going to build your brand for you, and people buy your brand because you are not selling features. You are not selling
definitely not
the tech. You're solving a problem.
Yes, an outcome.
Exactly. And marketing is the best way to tell that story.
Yeah, and storytelling. Yeah. In general, I feel like that we've talked about this a lot. And ad nauseum. Like, if you show up at a sales call and you're just reading off a list of features, no one cares about that. No one cares about your features. They only care about how your feature solved their problem.
Yes.
And they only connect with how your feature solves that problem if you tell them a story that resonates with them. And I think the biggest piece of advice I would give a seller just starting out is collect a bunch of stories.
Yes.
Keep them in a I don't care if you keep them in a folder on your computer.
Yeah.
They're tied to the outcomes that you provide. It could be stories from the last call you did with a prospect and what they told you. It could be about something that you've done in the past. Like, I've worked in banks, I've worked in credit unions. Some of my stories are about things I saw going down in branches, or what some of the teams that were located in those places were struggling with. So I can say, I know what happens when there's an audit. I know that you're all running towards the file cabinet that's brown in the background nobody wants to touch. Because I've seen that before. So,
Exactly.
right? It's like, how do you compile yourself a set of stories so that you're not leading with your features? Because, and I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with me here, but a lot of times when you're just leading with features, that's where people nitpick you. Because then they say,
Oh, yeah.
I saw 3 of you this week and you guys all have this base feature, but you don't have this one and that one is that one.
Guess what? You're all selling AI.
Exactly.
What does your AI do? Like, you know, like that.
What does it solve for?
Yes.
Why do I care? So why does my client care? Or
that's the thing. Like, if we were to close the loop on this episode, why the heck should they care?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing we're solving for, every single one of us.
Exactly. So if you want to bring value, you have to think, why do they care about this? Not why do I want to tell you about this cool thing that happened with us this week? No. Why are they going to care about that cool thing? And you frame it up that way.
Yes.
But that is where marketing helps sales, and that's where sales helps inform marketing. Again, everything is a loop.
Everything is a loop.
Guys. It all feeds back.
Every time we talk, I'm like, that's a loop too. And
that is a loop
too. Everything's a loop.
Everything's a loop.
But it's true though. It's like using each other to frame the voice, I think makes a ton of sense. And it's using your own buyer to tell you what to do.
Exactly. So
the most effective.
It is. Well, you guys, thanks for joining us for episode 2
the GTM Loop.
Of the GTM Loop.
Yeah.
Loops on loops.
Looping around.
All right. Well, we will loop back to you for episode 3 shortly.
Bye.
Bye.